Hello my hair warriors, it's me, Aaron O'Brien, your friendly neighborhood hairdresser. Today's video is sponsored by my friends at Lordhair.com. In today's video, we're going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly of my hair journey. We're going to be talking about transplants, we're going to talk about PRP, we're going to be talking about all of those things. So let's get started. Follow me. So a hair loss journey is definitely a big journey that we go on. It really affects your mental health, your confidence, and how you even walk. And my journey, I feel, was quite a difficult journey because I am in the hair industry. I wanted to have hair, try out different styles, and it was always something that was extremely important to me. So of course I wanted to keep my hair. So the first thing that I started noticing was hair loss when I was in the shower, and clumps of hair started to come out into my hands. And when I would look at the hair on my hands, I would have an overwhelming feeling of dread. I was like, is this gonna get worse? Why is my hair falling out? Is it stress? But it was male pattern baldness. So there's no going back from male pattern baldness because it doesn't go away. But there are ways that you can kind of help with it and combat against it to make sure that you have fuller hair. I had some good experiences, I had some bad experiences, but I'm going to tell you all about them now. Starting off with Minoxidil. So Minoxidil is also known as Rogaine, and that is the first thing that I turned to when it came to my hair loss. Rogaine can reduce hair fall, it can thicken up the hair, and in some cases it can increase hair growth. But in me, that wasn't the case. I found it would make my scalp really itchy, I broke out. I also had a bit of dizziness, which was quite scary. When I first started off using Minoxidil, I was using the liquid form. I would put a few drops on my head. I would do that twice a day, once in the morning and once at night. Then I would get up and I would repeat that constantly. And you have to do it every day. You have to make sure that you are very consistent when you are using Rogaine. So not only did it take up a lot of my time and I had an obsession with it, but the dryness in my scalp, the itchiness, it was just overbearing. I could barely handle it. And I almost felt I was scratching my head a lot, damaging the follicles on my scalp from itching it, and it was just horrible. So by the way, forgot to mention that I did actually start losing my hair in my early 20s, which is quite common amongst us males. But I want to talk a little bit more about the dizziness and these side effects when you are using these drugs. The dizziness for me was, again, it was scary. To experience something like that where there's a loss of control or you're feeling disorientated, and that would happen to me actually quite often. It did subside a little bit once I was using it for a little while because I was fighting to hold on to my hair, but it was just too much for me, so I actually had to stop. So I moved from the liquid, and then I said, look, I'll try the foam and start using it less. Did that make a difference? No, because you have to use it the way you're instructed to. And not only that, if you use it, you have to use it for the rest of your life. Because if you stop it, whatever hair you gained, say goodbye to it. So the next thing I tried was a light therapy, and that involved the helmet. So although I feel maybe it does help to some degree and it's good for the scalp, I definitely didn't get the results that I wanted from wearing this. I wore it for at least 7 months, and I felt it was a little bit on the itchy side, even though itchiness can be sometimes a positive thing, as it could be new hair growth coming through, but it was kind of unbearable. And I don't know if that's what the laser cap did or if it was in correlation with something else, but at the time I was doing nothing else. Now, I'm not a doctor, but it just became irritating. And again, I'm sitting there nearly every night with this helmet on my head, and it just was inconvenient. Although I really wanted my hair back, I was like, can I really sit here every night with this helmet on my head? No. I don't think so. So I wanted to try something else. After the laser light therapy, I fell down that dark rabbit hole, which is called the internet, and went through everything, studying everything I possibly could, trying to get as much information on how do I get my hair back. And then I came across Finasteride, and this looked so inviting. This was the cure to everything. It was finally going to work, and this was going to get me my hair back. So after a lot of research and mulling over in my brain, if this is really what I wanted to do, I decided, yes, I'm going to my doctor, which you have to do, get a prescription for Finasteride, ask the questions I needed to ask. I was told about the side effects, but it says that there's only a small percentage of people that go through side effects. And although that's what it says, I have met many people who have had very similar side effects to me. So when it came to the Finasteride, did I see results? Honestly, yeah, I did. I did see results. I felt there was less hair fall. I did gain a bit more hair, and that's what pushed me to keep doing it. But was it enough to make me keep doing the tablet with everything that was happening? That's a big no. Was it better than the light therapy, the Minoxidil? Did I see that the results were better? Yes, they were, but I had to take this pill for the rest of my life. But did I want the side effects associated with this medication? That's a hard no. Definitely not. So when I first started taking the medication, I felt like things were good. I didn't feel anything. Everything felt completely normal. But then as time went on, I started to notice some concerning changes. So with this medication, I found that I started to lose my sex drive. And I thought it was my imagination. I was like, nah, I think I'm fine. This is okay. Like, this might be just like a part of what I'm going through in life in general, or I'm busy, or I'm stressed, or whatever else it might be. And I left it alone. So I left it a few weeks later, and then finally I was, I'm actually starting to lose my sex drive. And that was really scary to me, that to have some sort of like erectile dysfunction or not being able to have sexual intercourse or any of those things is very scary for a man. And it was coming true. I felt like this was happening to me. What I read online, the horror story that I would see about sexual dysfunction, all of that stuff, I had zero libido. But because I was so desperate for hair, I kept going with it, and it affected my mental health. But I felt like I just felt lost. I felt like I didn't have myself, and if this medication was going to do it for me, I was going to continue. But then I also developed breast tissue. So again, I'm not a doctor, but I also knew from reading and falling down that black hole of the internet that was one of the side effects. So I started developing breast tissue around here, and that's what scared me the most. I had the low libido or no libido at that point, and then I had like breast tissue, and I just started to feel like I was looking slightly deformed in this area, and that was enough for me. I talked to my partner, and it was time I just came off Finasteride. I think anyone that's going to do anything like this, you really have to do your research. If there's any sign of side effects, make sure that you listen to them. Don't ignore the side effects like I did. I was very lucky. My sex drive came back over time. I've read that doesn't happen for everybody, that some people, they do lose their sex drive. And to me, that's it is a nightmare. And I feel slightly idiotic for continuing a medication that was doing this to my body. It was literally changing my body. So always make sure that you are aware of what's going on in your insides. Does this medication work for some? Yeah, it does work for some people, but just be prepared for a side effect or two or more. There are many more side effects that come along with Finasteride. Finasteride is also known as Prosker, and many other medications that do the same thing. So make sure you always check the list of names of Finasteride, because it does come under different names. Be aware of what you're taking when it comes to this, because it can alter your body. So when it comes to shampoos and conditioners, are they good for hair growth? And are the ingredients, do they influence hair growth with biotin, all of those good things to be able to make the scalp feel good? And yes, shampoos and conditioners are always going to be good for your scalp. Anything that's cleansing with some good ingredients are going to be great for that. But that's for the scalp health. Will it necessarily grow hair? To a degree, it will. If you have a healthy scalp, you have thicker hair, you have healthier hair. But is it going to help you with male pattern baldness? No, it's not. It's definitely not going to help with that. But it will keep your scalp healthier, and maybe it'll help with a little bit of hair fall. But nothing can stop genetics. Once you have male pattern baldness, you are going to continue down that journey unless you pick any of the things that I've mentioned. Which takes me to my hair transplant journey. And let me tell you, that was a journey in itself. Did a hair transplant work? Did I get results from it? Yes, I did get some results from the hair transplant. Was it the results that I wanted? Not necessarily. I thought I would have hair like this after I had my 3 hair transplants. Yes, 3. And would I do it again? When I think about it, I don't know if I would do it again. Because for me personally, was it suited for me? I don't really think so, because number one, I couldn't take Finasteride, which you pretty much have to take alongside your hair transplant. Minoxidil, you have to take that alongside your hair transplant. PRP, which is another thing that you have to do to be able to go along with your hair transplant. It's constant money, like it's a lot of spending. And that weighs on you over time, having to spend all that money and all of these different things for your hair. The hair transplant itself, like I said, it was a journey. And what's involved can be quite scary in a way before you get it done. You have all of these thoughts, you're reading everything on the internet of what's involved in doing it. Does it hurt? Doesn't it hurt? Well, I want to tell you now, yes, it does hurt. So if anyone tells you any different, like, does a hair transplant hurt? Oh, your head's numbed when you're having a hair transplant. Yes, that's the part that hurts. So it's basically, they take a larger needle and they put it into your scalp and they put it through all around the area they are going to be harvesting your hair, and on the area they're going to be basically drilling little holes and placing the follicle in, or at least that's what it feels like. I remember when I was lying down on the table or bed and they were injecting, and all of a sudden I felt really cold and they put blankets on top of me. I almost felt like I was probably going into some sort of shock at the time. Now, not everyone has this experience. I know people who have had great experiences with hair transplants. But for me, it was just, I just felt it was like awful. That part was very hard, very painful. And it was something that I think was a little bit unexpected for me. Then the transplant itself, when I was having the hair follicles put in, after they had been harvested, I can still hear the noise of the crunch when they were placing little holes in my head. And that hasn't left me. Maybe I don't have a high threshold for pain, but I just felt it was quite sore having the transplant done. Now, the second time I had it done, I was a little bit more prepared, but then I was left with scarring on the back of my head, that was hard for me because I couldn't get that shaved haircut that I like because it had scars in the back of my head. Now, I had the FUE and my doctor was really good. The team was excellent. I can't take that away from them. But I just don't think I'd ever go through that again. I know people, again, who have had it done and have had a great experience. But for me, it just wasn't worth it for me. Not the money, not the time, and the bit of pain that I went through. Hair transplants are great for people who have limited baldness, so they're not completely bald, because the donor area can only take so much hair. And even if you put the hair from here up onto the top of your scalp, Yes, that will stay, it won't fall out because it has the same properties as the hair at the sides and the back, which doesn't fall out, and that's great. But what about the hair around it? So if you have male pattern baldness and it is going to continue, you're still going to lose all of that hair. And in some cases, it doesn't look so great when you have filled in hair transplant and then the rest of the hair falling out. So if you do decide to go for hair transplant, make sure that you have maybe limited baldness, or later on in your age, maybe in your 30s instead of going in your early 20s, because you don't really know what's going to happen to the rest of your hair. You have to make sure that you know that. Otherwise, it can look quite patchy. You might have the donor area for the next level. But all in all, listen, hair transplants do work. They do work. They're known to work. But would I ever do it again? My personal thing is a no. So after all my trials and tribulations and everything that I had done, and trust me, I pretty much have done everything to save my hair, and I wanted to give an honest review and how I really feel about everything that I had been through when it comes to hair loss. And it is really hard on men, and I don't think a lot of people think that, but for guys, like, it is hard. Like, we do want to have our hair, we do want to feel youthful and have confidence. Some people can pull off a bald head and that's completely fine, but for some people, they want their hair, they want their identity. Some people just, a bald head doesn't suit them. So I then went down the internet rabbit hole again to try figure out what I really want to do. And then I came across Lordhair, and it was the best thing I've ever done in my whole life when it came to my hair journey. At first, I was a bit like, oh, like, is this like a toupee? Is this gonna look weird? Is it gonna look like a snap-on Lego wig and look terrible? And to my surprise, after watching many videos, emailing Lordhair, getting lots of information, I was ready to try it. And I actually first did this whole transformation pretty much on national TV, where I tried my hair system, and it was an unbelievable experience. I couldn't believe the difference it made. I couldn't believe how I looked afterwards. I finally felt like myself again for what I would consider a minimal investment, because you can do this at home yourself. Visits to the hairdresser, again, minimal. Just when I was going to get a regular haircut like I normally was, I could shower, I could run, I could do everything in my daily life with this on my head. I literally couldn't believe it. And it felt so comfortable and real. And even now, I don't know what it is. It just feels like it's my actual hair. And that's the great thing about having a hair system. Is it permanent? No, it's not permanent. You can stop it whenever you want to, or you can put it back on when you feel like it. And that's what's great about hair systems as well. You have so many choices of attachments. If you don't want to use product, you can use clip-ins. You don't have to use the glue. If you want to use glue, there's lots of different variations that are good for your scalp. Your scalp gets a good clean each and every time that you change out your system. It's also so versatile. I can work out. I can pretty much do everything with this hair system. It's even easier. I wake up in the morning and I do nothing. This is this morning's hair. This is how I look pretty much every day without having to do anything. No more powders, no more volume sprays, no more blow drying every morning and wetting my hair down and all of that stuff. I simply get out of bed, shake my hair, I'm ready to walk out that door and start my day with the utmost confidence. And that's why I'm a big advocate for hair systems and lordhair.com. Not to mention the thousands and thousands of dollars that you'll be saving not spending it on all of that other stuff. Keep it simple. Wear a hair system. Thank you so much for watching my video. Don't forget to comment, click the link below, and if you've got any other questions, make sure you ask, and maybe it'll be in my next video. Alright, thank you so much, and see you all soon. Bye!